November 1st, 2011, and coming up in 18 days is the province-wide municipal elections, and I have in studio, as I've been mentioning through the morning, Perry Schmunk, who is one of the mayoral candidates for Tofino, one of two. We had Michael Tilitzky in yesterday, and we're going to ask Perry a few questions and get a little background on, well, his current role in the community and his hopefully future role as mayor. So, Perry, first off, thanks for coming in. Thanks for making it in this morning.
Thanks, Jeff. It's great to be here.
I should mention, just in the interest of journalistic neutrality, that when I said hopefully, I mean you're hoping to become mayor. Long Beach Radio is, of course, does not condone any particular candidate in this event. But I'm glad you could make it, and any other candidate is, of course, welcome to come down and make similar arrangements. And we're asking kind of the similar 4 open-ended questions of everybody who's come to make this. So first of all, Perry, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell the folks that might not know you a little bit of your background here on the West Coast, and how you came to decide to run for mayor.
Sounds great. So my name is Perry Schmunk. I've lived in Tofino just over 4 years. I'll tell a little bit about my background prior to Tofino as well. Is most of my background is at a couple other resort-based communities, and I was kind of instrumental in those communities in not liking and actually opposing some of their what I would describe as urbanization, and then to kind of jump forward is I was working in Vancouver at the time, and through a friend of a friend, I heard about a job opportunity out here in Tofino. And I will admit I'd never been to Tofino before. Yeah. So the opportunity came to come visit Tofino, and so my wife Kate and my 2 kids, we came over to Tofino really with no expectations, not thinking one way or the other. But when we first arrived here, ended up on Cox Bay was our first view, looked out on the beach at Cox Bay, and without one word being said between the two of us, we looked at each other and we both knew that it was going to happen. It was going to happen, and this is where we wanted to be home. So it was, no thinking beyond that. It was immediate that we wanted to move here and we're going to call it home. And then from that point forward, so yes, we get established. It's great to be in the community. Immediately fell in love with it. Like I said, because a lot of my perspective draws a direct comparison to where I've lived in the past to where Tofino is. And when I first got to Tofino, I mean, I fell in love with its eclectic entrepreneurial spirit. From Cox Bay, driving into town, seeing the first bike with a surfboard rack on it, I just thought that was the coolest thing. And then continuing to go into town, seeing the different coffee shops, the different stores. I just love that small business still has a root here, and that it's not taken over by big business. I am an advocate of the kind of the no franchise movement that has
the mosaic of small independent businesses.
I just love it, and ultimately that's what will make us sustainable, and I'm a big believer in that, and I want to protect that. All right.
So is that what drove you to shoot all the way for the top for the mayor job in the election?
Well, one of the things is, through, a couple of different roles in the community, one which is my role at Long Beach Lodge, and the other thing, I've been involved with the Board of Tourism Tofino, and now currently the Chair of Tourism Tofino. And through those roles, I've had a chance to be involved with, kind of seeing the impact of how the local government's worked and been at council meetings and so on. And I think there's a lot of opportunity out there, and witnessing what I have witnessed, I'd want to act on that opportunity, and I'd like to contribute. So hence, kind of stepping up and rolling and running for this position.
All right. So you've already kind of touched on it, I guess, on why you fell in love with the coast and why you came out here and whatnot. But should you be elected mayor, what are some of the priorities? Maybe there's a hot button issue that people have been talking about that you have a personal stance on, or maybe it's just kind of more of a broad focus. But what could people expect from you in your 3 years?
I mean, I'd kind of divide it up into 2 kind of main areas. There is definitely some fundamentals that the district has to deal with. There's the 2015 deadline from the province on the upgrades to our sewer treatment facility. So there's some of those fundamentals that have to be done. And in that role, I think one of the key things is making sure grants get approved and we get as much support as we can from the different levels of government to lessen the burden on the district. So there's definitely the fundamentals that have to be done with. One of the key things too is I think there's an opportunity to remove some of the barriers for small businesses to get established in the community, because again, I think that's the root of our success. That has to be carried forward. And then the other side of it, to sum it up on the more sexy side of things, is I'd like to see more amenities and be a champion in getting some of those amenities forward for residents and families of Tofino to stay here, i.e., the ice rink and so on. I think those are key things. And what I would want to do, if I would feel that I'd have a success if in a 3-year term, if I've lessened the attrition of families and individuals from the community. I think that's one of our key things. And for us to be sustainable, I think we need a strong economy, we need good jobs, and we need amenities to keep people here.
All right. You got some notes down there. That's kind of the end of the prepared question sort of section, other than kind of referring people to websites and whatnot. Are there a couple of other things you wanted to mention?
The key thing is, definitely any concerns, issues as we go through this election process that any resident of the community has, feel free to bring them forward. I've got a Facebook page, which is Perry Schmunk for Tofino Mayor. I've got a website, perryschmunk.com, which also drives you to that dialogue of Facebook. See me out and about in the community. I'd love to hear from people, whether it be getting together for a coffee face-to-face or online. I'll respond to most posts. I want to hear what people have to say, and I would, one of the things that I would sum up is I love the community, everybody in it. It's got some great characters, and I would love the opportunity to work for the community.